Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector, and would you believe that GameStop mailed me this game? Yes, I've had a tremendous amount of success this month when it comes to picking up games from GameStop. I did have to do a little sifting through some garbage, but they have come through on some games, and this is the first time that I've gotten a boxed fourth generation game from GameStop. I've ordered Genesis games from them before, but typically it's usually cartridge only. But this time they actually sent me Outrun with the case. There is no manual. That would have been crazy if I would have gotten a complete in box copy of Outrun. But just getting this boxed copy alone for me is pretty gnarly. I was expecting just the cartridge. That's typically what they send. So this was a pleasant surprise. I don't do many racing games, but I do like Outrun because it's one of the few games where when you flip the car, the driver and the girl, they actually fall out the car. There's something about like Outrun and games like Top Gear that just take me back to that arcade racer era that I grew up in. You know, when I was a kid and I used to go on family trips and we would stay at different hotels, like, you know, like the Holiday Inn or something like that. At certain Holiday Inns, they would actually have like arcade centers there. And I remember at this Holiday Inn, they actually had Outrun. So I thought it was pretty cool. This one is a super nostalgic pickup for me, and I was actually glad to get it. Super stoked to get this one in the collection. And this isn't the only fourth generation gem that has come in this week, actually. So we have another one here, Indiana Jones on the Super Nintendo. You know, I wouldn't have thought that this game was as good as it actually is. I think this game is kind of underrated, both graphically and gameplay wise. It's essentially a side-scrolling action-adventure game. A little bit of platforming to it, but the attention to detail in this one is pretty good. The music is good, and again, I think just the sprite work is decent. Like, it's really decent for an Indiana Jones game. And now that I think about it, a lot of these Indiana Jones games are actually pretty good. I think they're all done by LucasArts, and LucasArts games tend to be pretty good. So this one was another really cool surprise. Pretty decent condition too on this one. No real label damage. So was really stoked to get this one. We've got another fourth generation pickup for you here in True Lies. Now, I don't typically do like the top down isometric, you know, shoot 'em up style games. It's typically not my vibe. But graphically and just, again, nostalgia-wise, this is one that I made an exception for. Like, if you like games like Zombies Ate My Neighbors, this kind of plays like Zombies Ate My Neighbors, just you're Schwarzenegger, you have a variety of guns, and you're going through, you know, shooting stuff and throwing grenades and stuff, and you obviously have to watch out for civilians and things like that. But if you've ever seen the movie True Lies, that makes this a lot more fun. And again, graphically, I think graphically, this is another one of those really great Super Nintendo games. So another really good copy, really good label, right? So two pretty good looking cartridges there that came in. And then I had another fourth generation classic here. This is one that I don't know if I've ever seen out in the wild. I don't see this one often, but this is Looney Tunes B-Ball. Now, when I saw this gave me, like, you know, what is it? NBA Jam vibes. You know, it's not, yes, it's a sports game, but it's kind of like a quirky sports game, and it's by Sunsoft, right? So whenever I see like JIN, Sunsoft, I know that they usually do good work. And this is another one that I was actually really stoked to add to the Super Nintendo collection. Really good cartridge, really good label. Was glad to snag this one up. I'm going to be putting in some time on this one because this one actually looks really fun. So that's another fourth generation classic. And then we had some third generation goodness as well. So got a solid copy of Nightmare on Elm Street. This one has some of that NES burn. Whenever you get those NES cartridges that start to do that, like that yellowish tinting, that yellowish greenish tinting, because it's just been played so much, it's been sitting in the heat of the NES console. That's what happened here, but that just means this one got a lot of play. And really good game. Graphically, gameplay wise, this is a side scroller adventure game. I'm a fan of those. So this was one that I was glad to add. And then the really the best one of them all, I actually streamed this game the other night, but Project Vice on the NES. Now, I don't get why this isn't like a $200 NES game. I really don't. Especially when I consider some of the NES games that are really expensive, games like Dragon Fighter and Power Blade 2, and some of those games that have a lot of those really cool features. I don't know why Project Vice isn't more expensive, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It's a relatively cheaper game. I think I got this game for like, I don't know, like 30 something dollars on GameStop's website. But again, this just feels like one that should be a lot more expensive just because it's a very sick game. Like, the game opens up immediately to like this car chase scene, which plays kind of like a top-down shooter. And you're just thrust immediately into action. And then the platforming in this game is good. The weapon selection in this game is good. You get to choose between a sword, a gun, and a grenade. And you use all of these to face off against bosses. The first boss is pretty easy, but man, that second boss is ridiculously hard. So I don't know. I can only imagine what it takes to actually beat this game. It is a tough, tough game. I mean, it's got that NES just level difficulty. If you grew up in the 80s, you know how difficult these games could be. But it's really about the pattern. Once you learn the pattern and you can get the pattern down, know when to dodge, know when to duck, know when to roll, that's when you can achieve success. So, but this is a very cool one. Was really glad to add this one. And yeah, I am not mad at all. Got some really gnarly third and fourth generation pickups. No fifth generation pickups so far this week, but we did get some really good sixth generation pickups. So I'll just show these together. So we got Def Jam Vendetta and Def Jam Fight for New York, both from GameStop. And the best part is that both of these games were complete in box. So gotta love when you get some complete in box action on the Vendetta, and then also loving that complete in box action on the Fight for New York. So these were really two awesome pickups. For me, I'm a big fan of the Fight for New York. I actually had the greatest hits version of Def Jam Fight for New York on the PlayStation 2. And the reason why I went ahead and still got the GameCube version is because I feel like the PlayStation 2 has really, really long load times. And I don't know if it's a sign that the disc that I have just is bad or what. But I could foresee that disc kind of crapping out on me. And so I went ahead and snagged this one up just to have as a backup. The fact that it is complete is definitely sick. So I was glad to add both of these into the collection. And all in all, I've just been having some really good luck just picking up some of the more obscure titles that I'm seeing on GameStop's website. I know they have their issues. I tend to have my issues with them as well, but when they come through and they deliver the goods, I got nothing negative to say. So all in all, these are some really tight games. Let me know what you guys think about some of these pickups. Really super stoked on that Outrun, man. I'm blown away that I actually got the case for that. So let me know what you guys think about these pickups, and I'll catch you in the next one. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.